Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is the place to be for education about asexuality, so subscribe and hit that bell icon right now. Welcome to Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month. We are on day 21 of the videos, but it's gone on to day 22 if you're in the UK right now. So I'm going to be discussing tonight or today, this morning, wherever you are in the world, the difference between sexual arousal and sexual attraction. So, as you might know, asexuality is a sexual orientation that's based largely on the lack of sexual attraction. The pure asexuals lack any sexual attraction whatsoever. The grey asexuals lack the usual sexual attraction. So, asexuality is a sexual orientation as well as a spectrum of asexual identities. And in Asexual Perspectives book, I discuss with 46 different asexuals what they think is the difference between sexual arousal and sexual attraction. So I'm going to be reading from this book. You can grab a copy of this book for yourself on Amazon, Barnes & Noble website, Blackwell's, Walmart, Waterstones, all good bookshops. Of course, Amazon is the one that most people purchase it from, but let's crack on. So, Robin's story. Do you believe sexual attraction and sexual arousal are the same or different? Please explain. So, Robin says, yes, they are different things. I accept that you can feel both simultaneously, which is probably why a lot of people conflate the two, but they are definitely different. I think sexual attraction is a desire to have sex with someone, whereas sexual arousal is the desire to relieve arousal of your genitalia. I would totally agree with Robin, actually. Sexual attraction is when you get the need, urge, or want for partnered sexual intercourse with one or more people. And sexual arousal is a feeling in your genitalia, which some people want to relieve, other people decide not to relieve. There's some asexuals that feel very disgusted that they even feel sexual arousal at all. So I just thought I'd add that. So Cassidy's story, what does Cassidy think? Yes, arousal is a physical phenomenon, i.e. an erection or lubricated vagina, and attraction is a more abstract concept. So I think that's very interesting how they put that. But yeah, arousal is often physical, but you can feel aroused using the power of your mind without any physical touch whatsoever. In case you didn't know, most people don't know that. Right, so Kenneth Williams' story. Do you think arousal and sexual attraction are the same or different? Please explain. Yes, I do believe the two are the same. So Kenneth thinks they're the same. Without the physical sexual arousal, the two are the same to me. So that's very interesting. See, asexuals have all different types of perspectives, and it's important to respect each perspective. That's why relationships are so difficult, because people have different perspectives of the same thing, and one thing can mean a different thing to someone else. So it's very interesting. I have actually touched on the point before that when you have sensual attraction as an asexual, a heterosexual, for example, could misinterpret that as sexual attraction, because a sexual attracted person usually wants touching because they're sexually attracted to you. So if you experience sensual attraction as an asexual person, but not sexual attraction, you need to let your partner know that, or whoever you're allowing to touch you, because otherwise they might think you want sex. And just because you like touching doesn't mean to say you do want sex. But sexuals think it's a precursor to sex, or prelude, or preface, like a book. They think it's basically the bit before the actual sex, if that makes sense. Preface is something you use in a book, but I just thought it sounded interesting in a sexual context. So yeah, it's basically what they think is a lead up to sex. And so you have to explain to them that it's not if it's not for you, right? So, Victoria's story. Does Victoria think sexual arousal and sexual attraction are the same or different? Please explain. Arousal is a physical phenomenon people with a libido experience, regardless of sexual orientation. Attraction is the desire to have sex with a certain person. Yeah, so some asexuals have also what they call a sex drive. So they have a drive for sex, but it isn't aimed at anyone. I personally experience arousal, but I do not experience a sex drive at all because I haven't got a drive to have sex in and of itself, but I do experience high levels of arousal to do with kissing usually. And thinking about kissing with myself, with no one involved even. Well, obviously it can be with someone involved if I'm thinking about it, but I don't have to actually be doing it to get aroused. Does that make sense? So yeah. And so let's see if right, D story. Do you think sexual attraction and sexual arousal are the same thing or different? Yes. Sexual arousal is a state in which your body can be. Sexual attraction is a desire to be sexual with another specific person. They often go hand in hand, but not always. I like the way D explains it. The sexual arousal is a state in which your body can be. So yeah, arousal is a bodily state. And sexual attraction is a desire to be sexual with another person. You don't have to be sexual with another person if you experience arousal. You might just want to do stuff with yourself, not with anyone else, which is usually the case for me. So, Zoe's story. Do you believe sexual arousal and sexual attraction are the same or different? I'd have to say not the same, based on the fact that people will get aroused by watching porn. They do not know the person they are watching, have not perceived them in the real world. How could they be attracted to someone they've never met in the flesh? No pun, or even spoken to? Question mark. So, yeah, I mean, obviously someone can be attracted to someone in terms of looks. So, you can be attracted to someone, but like I would say people can be sexually attracted to someone they've never met because they just look at a person and they get sexually attracted to their looks without even. But, is it sexual attraction or is it arousal? It's a very good question, isn't it? Is it arousal through seeing their body parts, or is it when they watch porn, or is it actual sexual attraction when sex with that person because they're sexually attracted to the person? Poses a very good question, doesn't it? What Zoe's saying. I think so anyway. I don't watch porn. I have no interest in it whatsoever. I'm a bit bleh, to say the least, over that, personally. But some asexuals do watch porn. Some masturbate to it, just so you know. So Jamie James's story. Do you think sexual arousal and sexual attraction are the same or different? Sexual attraction is liking the look of someone, and arousal is getting turned on by someone. Again, one is looking at and the other is participating in. That's very interesting. So so they're saying sexual attraction is liking the look of someone and arousal is getting turned on by someone. So they're saying one is looking at and the other is participating in, but you can have arousal without participating in sex. So yeah. And is sexual attraction to do with looks, as I was saying when I was reading Zoe's story out? Or is that aesthetic attraction? Or is it both? Because obviously Zoe said you can't get sexually attracted to someone you haven't met in the flesh. But I said you can because you mean you're sexually attracted to their looks. But is that aesthetic attraction or is it sexual attraction or is it both? What is your opinion? So, let's move on now to Joel's story. Do you think sexual arousal and sexual attraction are the same or different? Entirely different. Sexual attraction is feeling the pull towards someone you want to have sex with. Sexual arousal is a body's natural response to stimuli. Asexuals are still capable of sex/masturbation. You play with it and you will get aroused. I would agree, but I would also say that it's not just to do with physical stimuli. You can get aroused without any physical touching whatsoever. You can get aroused just by thinking about being aroused about something, or certainly I can, before I've even done any touching to myself. Like I don't, I can just get that. And I think some other people can, probably by seeing images and stuff without touching themselves. That's why they watch porn, innit? So it hasn't just got to be physical stimuli, it could be visual stimuli, but you could just think about things in your head. You don't have to look at other people's body parts. Right, Adair Gerhardt's story. I think a person can be aroused without being sexually attracted to another person. Arousal is a physical response to stimuli, but to prepare for copulation. It can happen whether or not you want the person you're about to engage with. But it's interesting that people seem to think that arousal is just based on physical touch, but you can get aroused with no physical touch whatsoever. So it says here arousal is a physical response to stimuli. So yeah, it is a physical response, but the stimuli doesn't have to be physical in itself as well. It can be like mental or emotional stuff like that. There's a lot of people that are into sensual stuff, and they can get turned on, aroused, if you like, by smells, as well as looks, as well as thinking things. But yes, arousal is a biological, if you like, physical response. So I would say sexual attraction is when you've got the innate need, desire, or want for partnered sexual intercourse, whereas arousal is a feeling in your genitalia that, in my case, I have no inclination to do sex. If I get aroused, it never makes me want to have sex at all whatsoever. But that's not the case for some people. Some people, especially sexuals, they get aroused and then want sex to release the arousal. I think a lot of asexuals please themselves in that way. If they have arousal, they'd rather masturbate themselves than have sex with someone else. And I think that's a good thing, because I think it means we're self-fulfilled. We don't rely on someone else for our sexual pleasure and happiness. We can provide that for ourselves if we want that. And there are a number of asexuals that don't like anything sexual at all, any masturbation. Like I said, there's some asexuals that get very repulsed even thinking about masturbation. I used to be one of those people. I used to make me feel sick and disgusted. I'm not like that now, but I was like that for years. I never even tried masturbation until I found out I'm asexual, which is kind of crazy, right? I didn't have a need for it, didn't have a desire for it, didn't have a want for it, so I didn't bother to do that. And I felt quite sick when I tried doing that with myself, and I'm like, oh, this is disgusting. But I don't have that opinion anymore. I'm like, oh, if I want to do that sometimes, occasionally, I will do it. Otherwise, I won't bother. You know what I mean? Because I do have high arousal levels, but zero sexual attraction, and sometimes, yeah, it can be good to relieve the arousal. Other times, you just distract your mind and do something else. But I think it's nice to like your own body as well. I think it's good for self-love, self-care. I think we shouldn't leave our own pleasure in the hands of other people. If we're meant to be, like self-sufficient, we're meant to self-love, and we're meant to fulfill our own needs as much as possible and not rely on other people to do that. I think that should include physical needs, like arousal needs as well, so that's what I believe. But what do you think? I'd love to know your comments and opinions. Hope you've enjoyed this Asexual Perspectives live stream tonight. If you're watching it on the replay, thank you for being here. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe if you haven't already. There are a lot of people watch this channel that are not yet subscribed. Subscribing helps the algorithm get more eyeballs in this channel, which raises awareness of asexuality and helps me to grow a beautiful community of asexuals and allies here. So please do subscribe, check to see if you're actually subscribed, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Grab a copy of Asexual Perspectives if you haven't already, that I was reading from, on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Waterstones, Backwalls, Walmart, and lots of other good bookshop sites. And don't forget to get my bestseller, Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual, 78 Life Lessons to Ace Your Life. Both of these are also on Amazon. And if you like superhero books, don't forget to grab a copy of this. I love this book, Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. How to manage fibromyalgia to have less pain, more energy, and feel happier like a superhero rock star, which is autobiographical. So yeah, I'm very proud of all these books. And I'll be back for another Asexual Perspectives awareness video soon. Lots of love. Take care. And I've still got some shorts to upload as well for my time in London. So that's still to come. Been really busy today. So lots of love. Thank you for all the loving hearts. Thank you for the thumbs up already. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Lots of love. Stay ace. Bye.